I can't do an intro. No. We can't record one of those fancy intros I put at the beginning of this.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You've never listened to the podcast?
No, not even by accident.
Well, usually I put a clip from the movie we were talking about, but I don't have that technology now. So, well, you know what? They're listening to this anyway. Just cut this part out. Insert clip of Chopping Mall into the beginning of this, and it'll be awesome.
The hell is Chopping Mall?
Okay, we're cutting this part out. Just ignore Pete. Put Chopping Mall clip to open with, and then we'll give you a pause, and then you can just layer this right on top of it. All right? All right, now we'll start the actual podcast in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the Scare Value Podcast. Pete and I are here.
Where are we?
We are in Buffalo, New York, which is normal.
That is true.
We are in 1986.
That is normal if it,
It was normal when I was 7.
Yeah, and now it's normal again, right?
Yeah, so quick recap. We got ourselves stuck in 1986. We're not entirely sure how.
Whoa with the word stuck, buddy. Stuck is not what we are.
Do you know how to get out?
No, and I
Then you're
refuse
stuck
to
there.
learn.
I'm not saying that, like, when you're a kid and you got stuck in those old refrigerators, you didn't enjoy it, but you didn't know how to get out of it.
I didn't know how to get out of it.
That's like a real thing again. Like, you see those refrigerators out there on the curb and, like, stay away from them. It's the scariest thing in the world.
You climb into them.
I think the scariest thing in the world is quicksand. Because I've been watching TV. Quicksand is terrifying.
All over the TV?
Obviously, the grates at the bottom of pools are terrifying.
Yes, they've always been that way, though.
And old ice boxes.
Old ice boxes. Those are fun, though. They're so fun to climb into.
Don't play hide and seek in there.
But that's the best hiding place. No one ever finds you forever and ever.
No one ever does.
And ever.
So we've been here for a few months, and
it has been glorious.
It has been pretty nice. I can't deny that it has been pretty nice.
It is great here. It is fun here. I feel smarter here. I don't use this power for anything, but I just feel better.
No, we don't use this power for anything, which is weird because, like, we could be buying stocks and things that we're not going to go, but we don't.
No, I just look down on them for their stupid ideas, for all of their stupid 1986 ideas.
Yeah, we popped up here in 1986 for some reason. We have not figured out why.
Nope. And again, I'm not going to look. Don't want to go back. It's nice here.
But we did make ourselves millions of dollars selling a screenplay for a little movie you might know called Peggy Sue Got Married.
Starring Nicolas Cage.
Well, starring Kathleen Turner.
Starring Nicolas Cage.
Well, either way, they paid a surprising amount of money for a movie that I don't recall being a giant hit, but they don't know that yet.
No, that's how things work in 1986. It's Hollywood. You write scripts real easy. They give you money. Bing, bang, bada, boom. You're out. You got your cash.
The 80s are pretty great.
It is.
But at the same time, like, I have to just watch commercials all the time.
I don't mind commercials. I like commercials.
Well, it's the only way to know anything's even coming out because there's no internet. It's insane.
I kind of miss commercials because I used to know things about products and now I don't. I couldn't tell you any product. Hey, for instance, what's happening right now is I can find those legs in their eggs, the pantyhose.
Oh, wow. Why would you need to?
I'm just saying they're there. Until I saw them, I forgot that they ever existed. And now I'm so excited. I bought like 300 of them.
Yeah, you're not doing great with the money.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just feel like maybe we could have invested in Microsoft instead, but
The hell is a Microsoft?
I don't know, Pete.
Is that like a pillow? A bed? Some sort of bedding? It sounds like a bedding.
Well,
oh, no.
You know where you could get all these things?
Where?
At a mall.
Boy, howdy, can you? I see what you did there.
Look at that transition.
I see you. That was you're very proud of yourself right now, aren't you?
I am. Now, for people listening, I'm hoping that they're putting this together for you in 2024. People listening, malls were a thing where a lot of stores were.
Malls are the best.
Yeah,
they're the greatest, and I am so excited that there are so many.
Yeah, I would say we're right now, we're in the peak part of mall life.
It is. You know what was very disappointing when we got back here? And I couldn't find them once I realized malls were back.
Yeah.
There's we're too early for Debbie Gibson and for Tiffany.
Is that right?
They don't exist yet. Well, I mean, they exist.
I think they exist.
Well, I thought about going and looking them up, but I feel like I might get arrested or something for hanging around a bunch of teenage girls saying, hey, Hey, because when I was a kid, they were like super cute. So I was like, hey, I want to look back, see what they look like. But I feel that would go poorly for me.
Okay, but when you thought that, you were 8. Now you're 44 years old.
That's why I understand why it would be creepy, and I haven't done it.
How would we even look them up? The yellow pages?
Yeah, they exist, right?
I assume so.
Is that what that giant brick outside our door is?
No, that's a brick.
Oh. Why is it red?
Well, it's a phone book joke there somewhere, but I can't make it.
I don't think anyone reads the phone book anymore.
So we saw something very special.
What did we see? I mean, it was special because it took place in a mall.
It did take place in a mall.
Which is so cool.
In the same mall as Night of the Comet.
Hey.
And a few other ones. But I'm pretty sure that's the same mall because Kelly Maroney is an actress in both those movies, and I'm pretty positive they're running around the same mall.
Which one was Kelly Maroney?
She was the one who lived.
I see.
She was the final girl.
I see.
She was in Night of the Comet. Those are the two things I know about her.
Okay.
I remember. Was a real peak for her because I think Night of the Comet was 2 years ago.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
This is her peak? Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie. Oh,
she still makes horror movies to this day. She's one of the people that's a lifer. It's nice.
Okay. I just realized I don't know how to refer to myself in time when I say I haven't seen that since I was a kid, but I am kind of a kid.
That's still true.
Right. But I haven't. But that was 2 years ago.
In 1986.
Oh, no. I'm getting lost in time. My brain can't handle it.
You're fine, though, because you're in Ohio right now. You have no way of running into yourself.
Right. Young me is in Ohio.
Yeah,
safe and sound, playing with puppies.
I'm just running around this town.
Hey, you know what's funny? Me and me are both watching He-Man at the same time every day, hopefully.
I think that's probably true.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You know what I just thought of? My grandparents are alive. I could go see my grandparents.
Oh, boy. I think at least one of mine is.
You can't do that, I guess, but...
They're in Rochester, so we can't go to Rochester.
I mean, we could.
Again, we could.
Literally do nothing else but watch movies.
Yeah, but...
It's not that different than life was before we got back here to 1986.
But we have malls. Oh, you know who was on the Wheaties box? It's the only sports reference I know.
Is it Michael Jordan?
No, for baseball. I'm sorry.
Lou Gehrig's disease.
No, I think that's not until 2001.
Who's on there right now? Daryl Strawberry.
You don't go look at the Wheaties box?
I don't eat breakfast foods.
Pete Rose, baby.
Oh, my boy. That downfall's coming.
The only baseball player I think I know.
We should go find him and warn him, but not about not gambling, just to bet on better things. So at least he'll have a comfier life after he gets kicked out.
Okay. I was confused for a minute. That's what I'm hung up on. Were we trying to redeem Pete Rose? Like, was he a good person?
We just wanted him to win his bets.
But like, is he a good person? I know nothing about him.
No, he gambled on baseball.
Yeah,
it's like the one thing you shouldn't do.
Oh, yeah, the one thing. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you know how many murderers and rapists have played in baseball? All of them.
Okay,
but don't bet on baseball.
All right, that's like one of those things where not all rapists are baseball players, but all baseball players.
For some reason, rape and murder does not go against the integrity of the game,
but betting,
but gambling does.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. I don't think anything's changed back up time either, right? Like gambling's still a problem in sports.
I don't know what's happening in 2024.
Well, it was whenever we left. The war could be over.
The world?
No, the war.
What war?
Doesn't matter. That's the beauty of it. There's always a war.
Yeah, there is always a war.
Right.
Although, is there a war right now in 1986? I guess the Cold War.
Oh, yeah. It does feel a bit chilly today.
I expected, when we got here, I expected people to be like afraid of nuclear bombs and stuff, because I seem to remember that being a kid, but most people just talk about Halley's Comet. Like, it's a bigger deal than you expect.
I saw it. Oh my gosh, I can see it again. I only saw clouds.
I think it already passed.
Did it?
I don't know. People are talking about it.
Oh, man. Who do you talk to? I just sit around again talking about He-Man with people because we don't have the internet to talk about. I just go out in public and talk with folk.
I just mean you hear people talking about it when we go to the movies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't interact with people. We can't because we might change the future. Although, I don't think we will. That's your deal. I think we'll
you can't change the future at all.
It's a big deal.
Ever. I've seen all the movies and all the time travel books where if you step on a butterfly, it turns out donuts fall from the sky and Tyrannosaurus Rexes are your bosses.
That sounds awesome.
It's not as awesome as you would think from all those science fiction books I read.
Well, I've said before, I don't think that we could affect much anyway.
All right. Well, I disagree.
Well,
we do nothing. We touch nothing. We hear nothing. We see nothing. We lick nothing.
We've done every one of these things since we've gotten here.
Well, we have to stop.
Well,
right now, we're probably doing wrong by breathing the air that we're breathing.
I mean, what if we just cause someone to miss a red light and then throws off their whole day, and then Hitler rises to power again. I don't know how he got out of.
Because that car hit the butterfly, and that's what causes all the stuff. It's the butter. You can't step on butterflies.
I'm just saying, you can't worry about it as much as you do. I think as long as, like, most people go to work in the morning, they have an alarm clock, their day resets. Nothing you did the day before is going to affect what they do the next day.
Don't go to a butterfly conservatory and start smashing things.
Okay, I won't do that. That I won't do.
Then we're going to be fine.
I'm going to do that Pete Rose thing, though, because I really want to see him win.
I don't know about that. I can like him. He's got the name of a person to be trusted. I can tell you that. Seems like a stand-up guy. Somebody I would trust with all of my money. Yes. He's on a Wheaties box, man.
That's what I heard. So,
Killbots.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. We saw something that nobody in the world has seen since March of 1986.
I never saw it before.
Well, nobody's really seen this before, unless you were lucky enough to score tickets to one of the previews that we were at.
I never saw it twice then.
Well, the movie we're talking about is now called Chopping Mall, but they chopped it up to get there because it was much longer.
Again,
when it was called
you're on
Killbots.
fire today.
The 80s suit me.
I guess so.
Hey, is this technically the first ever podcast?
I think it might be. We're making podcast history right now. I'm so proud. And my mom said I would never amount to anything, just like my guidance counselor and just like every boss I ever had.
And your wife and your kids.
Yeah, and here I am. Look at me on the first podcast ever.
That's right. So we went and saw the preview version of Killbots, which will one day become Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall?
Chopping Mall.
I never saw that one.
There's no chopping in this mall.
No. Wait, what? No, there was a bunch of robots.
It's robots with lasers.
Yeah, they chopped people, didn't they? Wasn't there a chainsaw of some kind?
I don't think there was a chainsaw. So I thought about this, though, because one of the things, we're sitting around with our millions of dollars in our nice Buffalo mansion. Those exist. And we're sitting in the grotto, and I'm popping something on the old VCR, and I'm looking for tapes, and all I can find is E.T. because I was fucking right about the 80s. But you know what movie doesn't exist yet in 1986 that was really interesting to me when I watched Killbots?
Jurassic Park.
That's the movie.
Get Shorty. No, the other one, Get Shorty. Get Short Circuit.
RoboCop.
What year did... What?
RoboCop comes out next year, which means Killbots invented...
The security robot?
The security robot that RoboCop then took to the next level. It was doing it a year ahead of time. I never put that together until I was forced to live in a world without RoboCop.
I never... You know what? Having never seen it before, I am not affected the way you are affected, but I am trying to think if I knew about... No, I didn't know about... I guess RoboCop was probably my first killer robot, even before Terminator.
I'm sure there were killer robots, but the storyline is eerily similar. I mean, I guess you're not putting a man into a robot costume. Spoilers for RoboCop that doesn't exist yet. But,
well, in theory, no one hears this until
I wouldn't even know how to let them hear it.
Right, back up time.
And how to use the mail, thanks to Marty and Doc.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
I'm assuming it works.
It always does. It works in most of those science fiction books I keep talking about.
Yeah, you talk too much about books. You're putting everybody to sleep.
Well, movies then, in all those science fiction movies, like Back to the Future.
Yes, that I know.
Right, all right.
And Peggy Sue got married.
Of course. I wonder why that. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't know how the time travel on that got wonky.
No, makes perfect sense from us seasoned travelers that we are.
So the story behind this, the story that I know, and again, there's no way for me to look things up to make sure I'm right, so you're going to have to forgive some mistakes.
And I know nothing about it, so I'm going to believe everything you tell me.
The story that I know is that Chopping Mall, which we saw as Killbots.
Yes.
When we saw it, it was
Can we keep calling it Killbots because you're really confusing me.
It was over 90 minutes long.
Yes.
But I know that the actual version is like 75 to 80 minutes. They cut out like 15 to 20 minutes of this movie.
Well, they asked all the questions.
Yeah,
you know that.
But Pete, the movie was good. And everybody seemed to like it. And the story I remember reading is that test audiences reacted poorly to it, so they cut it. That wasn't the case at the test audience we were at. People loved the movie.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. It was a good movie. I liked it.
Did you? Because I got a question.
I mean, it was long.
I got a question for you.
It was long, Brian.
After the Q&A,
Yes.
I saw you talking with the studio executive a little bit.
Was that who it was?
Yeah.
The guy with the weird suit? Really with the big shoulders, even though...
The guy with the clipboard and the notepad? Yeah.
Yeah, him.
What'd you say to him?
I said it was a good movie.
Is that all you said?
I said it was a little long.
Is that it?
Yeah, it was pretty much it. A little long. Just a little bit. Movies need to be tight. It's back in the heyday of tight movies. What are you doing running a little long? I don't need that much character talking. I need more robot moving.
Yeah.
I don't need...
You've never seen the chopping wall version, but I have, and it is basically it's beginning, middle, end jammed together. It's missing some things that we got in Killbots that were better. A lot of Barbara Crampton, for example, seems to end up on the cutting room floor.
Don't blame me. I'm a Crampton head.
Well,
what do we call ourselves? Crampton fans.
Cramptonians.
Cramptonians? And that sounds like somehow you're having menstrual cramps, and I don't think anyone likes that name.
I like it.
Cramptonians? I like the...
I'm a Cramptonite.
Cramptonite? Superman's mortal enemy?
This is another 80s movie with some boobs in it, including Barbara Crampton.
There were Barbara Crampton boobs. Anyone else? I don't remember. I just remember hers.
Yeah. I think everybody but Kelly Maroney got naked in the movie.
Okay.
That's why she gets to live.
Oh, okay.
It is the 80s.
That's right. Those were those rules. I enjoyed the movie aside from the length. Yeah. I don't know how the new one is. If you say it's shorter. Well, that's probably great. Did they leave in the 5-minute in the beginning with the bikini team walking around the mall?
No, but it would have gone great with the fact that there's, for some reason, a locker room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a locker room in the mall that everybody.
No, the things they seem to have cut out was the bikini team sequences.
Oh man, that was not what I meant when I said cut stuff.
And the weird part where, in the movie we saw Killbots, it is clear that Barbara Crampton is the lead character, and then her death is a shocking moment halfway through the movie. But in Chopping Mall, it's not that shocking because she barely gets as much screen time. It's very weird that they cut that. And
she's not the main character in whatever the Uptime movie is. Uptime. We're downtime now. See,
no.
This is how us time travelers talk. Uptime is whenever.
Chopping Mall doesn't ever take the time to establish a main character. It's just that you know that it begins kind of with Barbara Crampton and Kelly Maroney being friends. But they never really talk about it again in that version of the movie. This one had a much deeper connection between the characters in Killbots, and I enjoyed that a lot. And I feel like it's missing something.
Well, and
I feel like it's your fault.
Well, when Crampton dies, that's what spurs on what's her face.
Yes.
That gives her right. It's okay. You know what? I don't care. I like if it's short. I like it. The end.
Well, I guess that's.
Although I am a little bit angry about the lack of the bikini team walking around. Like that was just awesome. Because who else hangs out in a mall?
I guess they thought that was superfluous to the plot.
No, I thought it was a nice break from all the heaviness of the plot.
Yeah.
You know, what I want to see is a bikini team, some boobs, and some killbots rolling around killing people in a shopping mall.
That seems like advice you should have given to the executive instead of too long, make short.
Well, you know what, pal? I'm a man of few words but strong convictions, and that's the way I like it.
And nobody's ever going to see this version of Killbots we've seen again because
there were like a ton of people in the theater with us.
That's all the people that will ever see it.
They saw it. No one will ever see. They saw it.
They did see it.
Yeah, so the end. Look at me. I am smarter back here in 1986.
Now, I did notice that when we were at the theater, you had to cover your eyes during the nudity because the boobs were scaring you again.
You know, one time, I was startled by boobs.
Well, they had popped out from...
They didn't...
Oh, let's talk about this. The teens are having a sleepover at the mall.
Which was awesome.
It's kind of cool. But they're also having sex in the same room with beds that are just like near each other.
And then the two of them were just watching the movie.
TV.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. That's the premise, right? It's a mall, and I don't know who's seen Chopping Mall or Killbots, but the premise is it's a mall.
Yeah, it's a mall, and 4 couples,
young couples, hanging out, and they lock themselves in for the night.
The mall has developed security.
Killbot security.
In the form of 3 killer robots.
1 for each floor of this mall.
And then lightning strikes.
Oh, yeah, that's how Short Circuit got started, too.
That's how Frankenstein got started.
Oh, yeah. Is this a Frankenstein movie?
This is definitely a Frankenstein movie.
Is this a Universal Monsters thing?
No.
It's the Dark Universe?
This is, Russell Crowe was there. He was one of the teens.
Oh, is that who it was? I couldn't tell because there wasn't a lot of talking.
Yeah, the characters don't have a lot of time to develop, even in this extended version, outside of Crampton and Maroney.
Yeah. No, they're just kind of there. I
Yeah.
can't see. They're very forgettable. They were just guys. There was like cool guys.
They're just there to get murdered, and that's a way to do it in a way that I enjoy.
Yeah, 100%.
And go ahead.
No, nothing. It's just it's easy. It's funner for me to get into horror movies where I don't have to think particularly hard about the characters. When it's just, oh yeah, you're here to be killed, like in a slasher film.
Mostly, what I was thinking while I was watching the movie is all the things that we could do now that were in 1986, like go to that restaurant at the mall they're at and smoke. And
Oh yeah,
get cigarettes from those big vending machines, which I forgot existed.
I keep telling you to come to the mall with me. You gotta come.
I know that you're trying to find Tiffany. I think that she's 15.
Look,
I don't want to say anything more.
I told you I understand that it would be weird, and I haven't done it, but the mall is still a cool place to hang. Orange Julius, baby. You know, if they took all the old malls back uptime and turned them into retirement homes for us, how cool would that be?
The old
Got
malls?
a food court. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can do your little walk around to keep your exercise. Go get an Orange Julius and a Sbarro's for breakfast.
Well, these stores have to stay open too.
But yeah, they got to. Well, they're going to have a built-in like customer base. All the people who live there. Because look at this. Oh, you just said it. You're like, oh, I was watching a movie. Despite I can go to these wonderful places that exist, I was watching it and I was thinking that it's so cool. It is cool, man. You can do it.
Our big mall's not up yet in Buffalo, so we just have the old malls.
I think they're still awesome. All the stores, all the people.
It's weird though, because the one that specifically is near my house in 2024 is now closing, but it is a vibrant place in 1986.
Back here,
and I hate it. That's why I don't go. Because there's people there.
Baby, Orange Julius.
Orange Julius. So, did you notice that one of the characters uses the words Klato Barada Nikto, whatever?
No. When did that happen?
He says it to a robot who's about to kill him because he shows him his badge. And it's
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did see that one. That was great. Why did that happen?
because it's from the day the Earth stood still. So, Evil Dead 2, or was it Army of Darkness?
It was Evil Dead.
Neither one of
think
which
it was Army
exists
of
yet, so
Darkness,
I can't
yeah.
check it out.
No.
I think it was Army of Darkness. Those were the 3 words he had to say.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think he might have said him at the end of Evil Dead 2 also, in the book that opens the portal.
Oh, he may have.
So that's where that's from. But it's also, Killbots did it the year before.
Good old Killbots.
Yeah.
The Killbots are a lot of fun, too.
The Killbots are great.
They look like the short circuits.
Like fat short circuits, like
Johnny
proto
Five.
short circuits.
Well, weren't there the military Johnny Fives that were hunting Johnny Five?
I don't remember, and I can't look it up.
I know there were, though. I'm telling you.
I don't know when did that
was that a
movie come out?
Gutenberg?
Of course it's a
I
Gutenberg.
feel like that was a Gutenberg.
The first one was. He did not return for the second one.
There was a short circuit too.
Yeah.
Oh boy, can't wait for that one.
I'm pretty sure it had a white guy playing an Indian.
Yeah, I think that was true in part 1 too.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of, maybe it wasn't a Gutenberg. I don't know. I can't watch the movie.
Someday it's coming, man. We just got to hang tight. It'll
We
be
should
here.
probably get home at some point.
Shh, quiet, you fool.
Now, why did the mall need this much security? I know that we start off with like a commercial of like crime happening, but that wasn't an actual crime.
That was a made-up crime.
Yes.
And then it was what they were. A pitch. It was a sales pitch for a bunch of various business people.
Yes, and do you know that 2 of the people there are actors that have worked together? One of them, the man is still alive in 1986. You'll be happy to know.
I hope most of these people are still alive.
They appear in a lot of movies together. The 2 people that were talking during the thing, giving like their
Like the husband and wife,
Yeah.
or like who are the 2 the people that are in the Muppets? The 2 who
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, those are the ones.
They appear in a lot of movies together, and Paul Bartel is the man. And do you know he was the usher in Gremlins 2, or I guess he will be the usher in Gremlins 2, which is what I know him from. He goes and gets Hulk Hogan.
I did not know that. How would I know that?
Because I've seen both those movies.
Yeah, but I don't know how to process information, so here we sit. But that's pretty cool.
And Mary Warnov is the woman, and she worked. I remember she was in, or she will be in. It's hard to get that right.
Again, it is.
She
She's
will
got to
be
go
in
with it.
House of the Devil, and she worked with Andy Warhol a lot. This is mostly just 8 people running around getting murdered by robots, which is really good.
Exactly. It was surprisingly fun to watch. I don't know.
The first kill being the head getting blown up with an awesome effect was just pretty great.
And they're all inside watching her.
They're screaming at the window. Classic.
She runs past and then gets stuck there. The Killbots were fun. Yeah, they spend the night in the mall, and of course the Killbots go awry because of the lightning.
And the men run off to get weapons, and the women go hide in the vents, which the robots have control over the temperature of?
Yep.
That's
because they do.
I guess they do, but what does that have to do with security?
They had well, you have to, right? Because you're an all-in-one. Didn't they take? No, they killed the two people who were in charge of all the mall stuff.
Sure they did.
Then they hacked into it with their
but what
killer
a weird
robot
thing
ways.
to know to do or care to do.
Since they have no actual feelings or senses of their own aside from mechanical ones.
But they understand human tactics.
They do. They were. You're right. You know what? I'm starting to think back. These are surprisingly sophisticated security things for a mall with weapons that kill people.
I think they just wrote it and were like, we need to get them out of the vents. Why wouldn't they just stay in the vents the whole night? And they were like, oh, it's hot in there. It's like, why is it hot? Like, I don't know, robots.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how they ended up there.
Well, that's a perfect excuse. I can roll with that.
And it shouldn't work, but Barbara Crampton acts her ass off being hot in that vent.
And going crazy.
Because the other two aren't trying that hard. They're like, it's not that bad. She's like, I'm dying in here.
Okay, so we had the four couples, and we had the two people who came from the outside, right? The tow truck driver he was, it was him and his wife. It was him and his wife. Who were they? They were not part of the group that spent the night in the mall. Or not spent the night in the furniture room.
I don't remember, Pete.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, I believe it happened.
There were four couples, and then you have the janitor, who I guess is stuck there all night, played
By the Gremlins 2 guy.
Also Gremlins.
Yeah, I remember him from Gremlins 2 when he fought the gargoyle one.
Played by Dick Miller, who was in a lot of Roger Corman and Joe Dante, their movies. And he's playing Walter Paisley, which is a character name that he's taken like a dozen times in movies.
No kidding.
Yes.
You would only know that from watching credits? Or would they call him Walter Paisley?
His name was Walter Paisley in this, on the credits. And
okay.
He's Walter, I think maybe whenever his character doesn't have a name, he's just Walter Paisley.
Okay. I appreciate you paying attention to credits. I thought you walked out.
No, Dick Miller. Well, that was one of the first ones. Dick Miller was in Terminator.
Okay.
As the guy that worked at the gun shop.
Okay. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen Terminator.
People to know, time travel, very much like it is in Terminator.
How so? How did
you
it happen?
arrived here in big electric balls, completely naked in the middle of the house that you no longer lived in?
Yeah, but that's how I left. Or that's how I was when I left.
I know you were, but I wasn't, so I'm going to have to assume that just shredded the clothes off. And the worry I have with this is that in Terminator, there's no way to return to the future.
We're returning to the future right now.
Slowly.
Yeah,
One
we're
second at
getting
a time.
there. We're getting there.
In
See,
real time.
I already figured it out.
Did you figure out how old you'll be if we do it this way?
Sounds suspiciously like math. And you know what? Math is a lot harder back here in 1986.
You'll be 82 years old in 2024 if we just get stuck here.
No, I won't. Because then I'll just catch back up to whatever age I was in 2024.
No. And no, you won't because you'll be dead by 60.
So what do I got, like 2 years left?
Okay, Pete. So, did you notice the classic 80s butt shot that we don't get anymore? And the girl got out of bed to look for Mike and right the camera. How's it going to follow her? Right on the butt.
You do get that. I feel like that made a comeback really briefly in backup time. Like they were starting to do the butt shots again. Or am I wrong? Is that really just one of these things from back now?
It feels like every time I see one, it's happening in 1980, between 80 and 87.
I think you're right. That is the shot. And so how is this movie reviewed? I mean, like I've heard the name Chopping Mall before. It's talked about. It's not really a horror movie.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's sci-fi-y with the killer robots, but it is a classic setup. I just thought it was fun. It was just 80s fun.
Yeah, with murdering robots.
Yes, with murdering robots, which adds that sci-fi. Terminator's kind of a sci-fi horror, right?
Yeah.
So is Alien.
It's weird that you don't want to rank things because you don't like to, specify orders and things, but you're like, well, it can only be one or the other.
I'm trying to figure out where it fits.
That's the thing that you never do.
Right, but I am. You're forcing my brain into this in looking at horror. Like, where are you? I guess you're just horror. But it's I don't know that you can make movies like that anymore. Back in like the future time, I haven't seen just a a low budget thing like that, I guess.
You definitely can, just people don't.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fair enough point. No one does. And I think they should, because there's a lot of these movies that are like out now these are the movies I remember from my childhood and I like them.
Well, you don't remember this one from your child.
No, but it's that style. It's what are the Psycho Gorman and a Turbo Kid are those newer, those uptime movies that people like,
right,
that are very similar to these types of movies that are happening in the 80s.
Yeah, but they don't take the aesthetic of just being kind of always borderline raunchy no matter what they're doing.
No, that's true.
And that's the aesthetic that I like the most in movies.
Yeah, which you don't get. You just can't anymore. There's a lot of it that you would feel, nope, can't put that in a movie.
Now, this movie has something else that we lost to time that only happened in the 80s. Teens dancing at parties. One of my all-time favorite things. There's a 8 people there, and like 2 of them are just off in the corner dancing together.
Oh, there's going to be I feel there's going to be a lot of dancing. If we're going to keep going with horror movies all through this, slow time travel back to where we belong, we are going to see a lot of dancing for a long time.
Dirty Dancing in 1 year, I think.
That's not a horror movie.
That's not going to go see it.
Gutenberg.
I'm not going to go see it anyway.
Me neither. I don't think I've ever seen that movie ever. I'm not going to start now.
Is Fisher Stevens the name of the other guy in Short Circuit?
Fisher Stevens.
Is that right?
The Fisher King himself?
I don't think so.
Even
I
Stevens?
think he's the one who's been light brown face.
Shia LaBeouf?
Is there something about Shia LaBeouf and brown face? I don't know.
Oh, I never watched the Even Stevens.
I don't know what that even is.
That's what it even is. A Steven.
So Barbara Crampton got burned to death.
Poor Barbara Crampton.
That's where I lost a lot of interest in the movie, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, it was pretty tragic. You knew it was coming because she was the one who ran out of the vents. All crazy.
I know it was coming because I've seen the movie before.
Not me. And again, I thought that she was going to be our hero at least.
I thought they'd get back to that locker room. I just thought it has to come into play at some point. Why? It's such a weird choice.
It was so fun because that's what you do at the mall before you start your shift. At whatever store you work at, you go to the communal shower.
Well, they were waitresses.
At the pizza place in the mall.
A very small place with at least 2 waitresses.
That's why I believe it was a communal shower for every mall worker. You come into the giant locker room, take your shower, put on whatever uniform is for whatever store you work at.
Yeah.
Maybe they just assign it to you that day. Like you open your locker and you see what uniform is there, and that's where you go to work.
This is what you do. You go to the locker room, put on your uniform, go cover the 4 tables that exist with at least one other person.
Did you?
Then you go take a shower, and then you go fuck all night in order to get the
in somebody's furniture store
yes.
That's in the mall.
The 80s, man. Yep,
that sounds about right to me.
I can't think of a better way to discuss what the 80s are like. Now, there's one thing though. The main guy that lives, his name is Ferdy.
I never picked up anybody's name.
I couldn't think of anything but that. It's like the only name I got. I'm pretty sure Barbara Crampton's name was Susan. Those are the 2 I know.
Okay.
And there's a guy named Mike.
Ferdy?
Ferdy.
Could be.
What?
Ferd. Like, isn't there a Ferdy? Ferd?
No.
Ferdy Ferd.
No.
Ferdy Ferd. It's like Tweety Bird, but a Ferdy.
Never heard of anyone called Ferdy before. This is the only Ferdy that exists.
I don't know. I was not paying attention when I did my credit check.
No, you were looking at your watch trying to figure out what you could cut for time.
I wasn't thinking about that. And you know what? I wouldn't have said anybody, but that guy asked me. He came to me with that clipboard and that suit with those shoulders. And he said to me, "Hey, man, what'd you think of that movie, sir?" And he called me sir.
Oh,
sir.
So then you told him movies shouldn't be more than 90 minutes long.
Well, obviously, that's what I tell most people when they call me sir.
Dick Miller got electrocuted. And then
I thought you meant in real life, like before this movie came out.
No, Dick Miller's still alive in 1986.
I know. Well, I just thought you said he died. That was scary to me.
Dick Miller
in the movie,
Walter Paisley, got electrocuted. I think the next line of the movie was, "Hey, smoking's bad for your health."
I didn't catch that.
As he died smoking. Smoking. Oh, that's not really that either. We could write that script. I'm not going to.
So these robots, let me get this straight. It wasn't that their security features and safety checks went awry. It was just the fact that they were electrocuted into life with murderous intent in their little robotic hearts. No, because people showed them proper identification.
Yeah.
People who did it, they just didn't care. And they also seemed to toy with people, too. They enjoyed the hunt. It wasn't just to murder and kill. They were... who was it that got thrown off the stairwell? That was a fun death.
I don't know their names, Pete.
Okay, well, there was one guy who ran up a stairwell.
Was it the guy from Friday the 13th Part 2 who I'd never seen in anything else but this and Friday the 13th Part 2? The one who, if you remember Friday the 13th Part 2, is the one that gets hung upside down because he's a sex pest and he keeps stalking the girl
I don't remember,
and
but that
steals her
sounds
clothes
fun.
and then he gets cut open.
Was he a sex pest in this one?
They all kind of were sex pests in this one.
Which
I
is
guess
weird.
they was all invited.
Yeah, I was going to say, which is weird because everything was consensual, but they
Yeah.
still seemed like sex pests.
Yeah, they did. It's
Like,
the 80s, man.
Creepy ones, too.
It's the 80s.
Like, it's like, yeah, it's available. Stop. Like, just stop being the way you are.
Well, the one guy whose name I know because he dies first, he's the one who just says the 3 words that I can't remember from Army of Darkness.
Cool guy. Cool hair.
He gets up after having sex with his girlfriend, and then she takes down her towel and says, "Hurry back!" And he gets all excited. I'm like, "You just had sex with her. You've seen these before." It seems weird that he's doing like a ooga. It's like, man, you just were there 1 second ago. It is now time to take a walk, grab a smoke, don't come back. You know, a lot of the things that you do.
Sex pest.
Yeah.
It's like, you're always excited.
He was super excited to go again. And it's like, it's been, I don't know.
Been 4 minutes, but look, everyone else is still going. They're all on round 2. He's late to the party, all in beds about 4 feet away from each other.
That's the weird part.
They all seem to be like in their
weird-
own space.
Is it
though.
weirder that the groups were having sex 1 bed apart, or is it weirder that the 2 were just watching television?
I don't know. I once said I wasn't in the room where multiple people were having sex, which was happening. I was waiting for my ride, who was one of the people in the room, to come out. So I sat in the living room pretending to be asleep while another guy, no, it was me and another guy pretending to be asleep. We're all waiting for the same guy to come out of this orgy. And it was me, him, and another one. The 2 of us pretending to be asleep, heard the other guy there trying to hit on the dumbest person I've ever heard in my life. Just every sentence she said was so stupid, and he was still failing. So I haven't been in the room, but I've been, close by, and I think watching TV is okay. You can just kind of hang out, watch whatever's on the boob tube, not all the boobs that are happening around you. And it wasn't like an orgy. They were just all in their own lane,
Right.
doing their own thing on their own bed.
But there's so many other stores. That's why it's just weird to me. I know that they probably only have the key to the one, I guess, but they break into other stores. But the whole thing was...
But they weren't trying to break in anywhere at the very beginning. They were
just
just
seems
having a
like-
naughty sleepover.
It seems like staying over the night with your boyfriend in your father's store is a good plan. Inviting 3 other couples to come have sex in the same room, it seems like a weird plan.
It was the 80s.
It is the 80s.
It is the 80s. That's right. It is now. And now is the 80s.
That's right.
And Pete Rose is on the Wheaties box.
The other thing they cut out that I couldn't stand was they cut out the hardcore penetration that we had.
What's in the new one or the chopping mall one?
It's just like boobs.
I still like boobs.
Yeah.
So I'll take
They
it.
cut out all that lesbian stuff that I enjoyed so much in the movie.
They cut out that too?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm okay with that. It was a little bit too much for my murdering robots.
It should make the robots come off as homophobic.
It did do that. That's why I disapprove. Even back here in the 80s, I say, no, we can't have that. That's what I told that suit guy, by the way.
I just thought it was very progressive for a 1986 movie.
I feel like that's not the case, but I can't figure out why. The words you say make sense to me.
It just makes me laugh. I don't know why. The homophobic robots makes me laugh.
Oh, they weren't nice robots. I mean, they were didn't one pretend to be dead?
They were commissioned to do a job. Then they got their wiring all fucked up, and they got confused about what the job is.
I don't think so. I think the robots are evil. They just always are. Name me one good robot.
And Rosie,
The hell is Rosie?
she works for the Jetsons.
She went crazy. She's the one who killed all the Flintstones and made all that problem. That's why we tried to enslave them, and they're going to come back up again later.
What about K9?
It's Canine.
Doctor Who?
He's going to go wrong somewhere.
Affirmative.
See? He is. Every robot ever is a bad robot.
A bad robot. J.J. Abrams. That's his production company.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It would say bad robot at the end of everything.
Yep. That's what I know about it, too.
Yep. That's about all I know.
We should trademark that now. And then when he comes around many years from now, I'll be like, sorry, sucker.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't even know where our patent office is. I don't know where our patent Oswald is either.
That was my joke. I was about to make it.
I could see it in your eyes.
But I genuinely enjoyed Killbots. It was fun.
too. I really thought Killbots was good. Chopping Mall's good too. It's just there's less things to enjoy.
Yeah, very disappointed about that bikini team. That was not my intention. I enjoyed the robots.
Especially when they join the lesbian orgy.
Now, was there...
It's like Caligula all of a sudden.
Right? That's not till later, I think.
It's Cunnilingular.
Ooh. Nope, I can't follow up that one. You got that. Championship goes Kings to you.
Kings to you, Ferdinand.
That's right.
So the thing that stands out most to me about the movie is that malls were things.
Yes, they are. And I think it's cool to have settings in malls because it's going to happen for a while. And then they stop existing. So there's no more giant spaces with all these retail stores where you can have people running around in like a closed set kind of thing.
Right.
But have changing environments.
So it's 78. The malls are starting to rise. That's when we get Dawn of the Dead.
The rise of the Teenage Mutant shopping malls.
And George Romero's like, I got comments to make on this whole society that we're becoming.
Capitalism and such.
So malls where we're from in 2024 are basically dead.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's time to make another one of those. Dawn of the Deads. To comment on the death of commerce.
Do the zombies have jobs at the malls? As some sort of twist?
I guess they're just mall walkers.
Ooh, that's the next one in the Walking Dead franchise, Mall Walkers.
I don't know. I give up on that
But
a long time ago.
I don't.
Or a long time from now, depending on your perspective.
I assume that show was still running in some form, or the comic at the very
what's
least.
happening in 2024.
I don't either, but I'm just saying, I assume it's still going on. I assume that if we wanted to, we could somehow go all the way to the future and say, here, now you can do the walking mall, the mall Walking Dead.
They remade Dawn of the Dead in 2004.
They did. I kind of liked it, I think.
I remember kind of liking it too.
That was that guy I don't like, though, who did it.
Yeah.
I like the beginning.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I like the beginning of that movie.
It was written by James Gunn.
I like that guy.
But the thing that's weird about that movie is it doesn't have anything to say at all about anything.
Nope.
It is fast zombies instead of slow zombies, which is sacrilege in a Romero remake.
I don't like that.
And it's what I just said about how 78 malls are rising, 2024 malls are dying. Actually, you can just go 2015 malls are dying anywhere from then on. Like, it's weird that they made it in 2004, the time where there's the least to say about the mall.
Well, because it was just a remake, and I think that's the problem with...
But it didn't, I don't know why they called it Dawn of the Dead. They just wanted to set it at a mall, but it has none of the same ideas or concepts or anything.
You think that was a script issue or a director issue?
I mean, that seems like a script issue, to not have any social commentary whatsoever and no point.
Or is that an editing issue where maybe there was some kind of commentary, and it was decided not to include that because no one wants to watch that?
I don't know what happened with it, but
I like James Gunn, so I'm going to go on his side. I don't like
Zack Snyder,
so I'm going to be against him. And I assume that James Gunn gave him the most perfect script there ever was, just full of comedy and terror. Yeah, like exactly. It was he gave him Scooby-Doo. Yeah. And then what did Snyder do? He's like, needs to be darker, needs to be more grim, needs to be slow motion.
There isn't as much slow motion in that one. He hadn't
figured it out yet.
But he did fucking figure out those needle drops, Pete. He still got all those terrible needle drops.
What do you mean? I don't...
When popular songs start out of nowhere.
Oh.
But this is the problem, is that they worked in that movie.
It worked at the very beginning.
It worked at the very beginning, but it also worked...
It was Johnny Cash.
It also worked when they had that slow version of Down with the Sickness, that like a swinging version of Down with the Sickness.
Oh, okay.
It was so funny, and it worked so well that he just never stopped trying to do it again.
Okay, so that's why I don't like Zack Snyder then.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me. I didn't know.
And he says things like, if Batman's not going to kill, then there's no point to the character. Like, he doesn't understand the characters that he worked with at all.
No, not at all.
Batman needs to kill, he says, to stay relevant. What? Doesn't all the murder happening around him make it more relevant that he doesn't
kill? Did Zack Snyder write those scripts for those movies?
I don't know, and I have no way of knowing.
No, I don't know. I'm just curious now. Martha. Batman has to kill people. But Martha.
Why do you say that name?
Martha.
Why'd you say it like that?
Throat cancer.
Save Martha. That is, that if he wrote it or if he didn't, they high-fived either way.
Absolutely.
He high-fived somebody when he read that shit or wrote that shit. He did. And he's like, they're both their mothers are named Martha.
Then Batman and Superman should have high-fived.
They should have, because at that point, we're just through the looking glass on how stupid this is.
But then they know they're bros. And it's time to bro up.
Whoever would talk about their mother that way? And isn't the point in that moment of the scene, I don't want to try to break down the emotional complexities of Zack Snyder's Batman versus Superman.
Because there's a lot of them and we don't have the time.
Isn't the point that he's supposed to see him as a human connection and not just as a godlike monster, that there's humanity to him? So wouldn't saying save my mother be the same fucking exact effect without being so fucking stupid?
No, because you don't get the surprise reveal.
Well, then you could be like, okay, I will. What's her name? And at least there's a reason for it.
And then you can have them shout, why did you say that name? And they can go through all their emotional.
Because you asked me.
See, this is why they didn't do it. You're ruining a perfect moment. A perfect cinematic moment.
What was the other thing I'm trying to think of?
Ben Grimm.
Yeah, there you go.
There is no other thing.
You know what's really great about being at 86? All of our references are closer to being
relevant
than they are 38
I won't say
years
that they're
now.
relevant, but they're closer to being original.
They're not relevant at all. No. But I would say that the ones that we make that haven't happened yet are just as relevant as the ones that we say that happened 40 years before this.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm always relevant, though.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Mm. Oh, yeah. Look, I fit right in here.
I can't remember the other example I was going to have of something like that. Why'd you say that name? Where there's a line in a movie. I can't remember what it was, and I thought about it. I was thinking about it the other day. It must be from 86 because it's all I fucking watch anymore.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Is that on TV right now? It probably is.
I have no idea. I haven't.
There's no way to skip these commercials.
No.
So I used to tune them out.
Yeah, I like products. I like product placement in movies, too. I didn't see a lot of that here. I don't know if anything in that mall. It has to be. You know what? I did know.
Everything seemed kind of generic. She mentioned it.
But you know what? Some of them, again, you walked out. Did you see the ending, the secret ending? No. What do those killbots say? It's one of those like, have a nice day, or
hey, he said, we'll see you in RoboCop.
We'll see you in RoboCop. Well, at the end of the credits.
And the other one goes, why do you say that name?
At the end of the credits, he popped up. But there was one of the killbots, and he says this thing like, have a great day, I'm a killbot. But he's there. Oh. It was like the precursor. I know where Marvel gets all their ideas now. Stealing it from Killbots, those sons of bitches.
I feel like RoboCop stole from Killbots, and I'm not going to get off of it because it blows my mind that this was a year before a very popular movie's going to come out about security robots that go into business for themselves. And I just watched a fucking movie where security robots go into business for themselves, and it's not even a year later.
Does RoboCop have its secret ending?
Because this movie doesn't come out until like November, but it comes out in shopping mall form.
So Killbots, what we just watched, that's already done. They're going to take away the Bikini Team and release it in November as Chopping Mall?
Yes.
Okay.
Release the Bikini Team cut.
So in theory, I can go see it in November and see it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
We're not still here in November.
Dude, that's how time machines work.
What time machine?
The one we're in that goes forward 1 minute for 1 minute.
We're always at a time machine.
I knew I was going to build a time machine someday, and I did.
Yeah, I guess you did.
Yep. It's called the Earth.
Yep, it keeps spinning.
Yes, unless Superman takes it backwards.
Why'd you say that name?
Well, you asked.
It's going to be another bit. Shit.
Why did you say that name to every name that's ever said? Oh, yeah. Boy, I see no problems with that getting old. It's right up my alley.
Yep. Any final thoughts on Killbots?
I really like this movie. If we go watch RoboCop and there's a secret ending at the ending, then I'll believe you 100% that it has stolen all of its ideas from Killbot. Is there a mall scene in RoboCop?
I don't believe so.
I don't know. I guess I'll find out next year.
But malls are big because there are malls in Night of the Comet, malls in Back to the Future, malls in
Weird Science,
malls in Weird Science, malls in Terminator 2, Judgment Day,
malls in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Well, we're really far away from the 80s. So we're getting farther away.
Was there a mall in Citizen Kane?
There was a mall in Episode 1.
Episode 1?
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
There was.
Yep.
There's lots of malls.
Actually, by the time he's done, there's 2 malls.
That was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
We should warn everyone about it.
About what? The Space Wars?
About the Star Wars coming back.
Star Wars coming back? Nah, people will be excited.
That's still 13 years away. Return of the Jedi was just 3 years ago.
Hey, I meant to ask. Your internal clock that works on whatever that movie is. What's the movie that you base everything?
The Others?
The Others, yeah. How's that working now here in the past?
Everything I watch is 15 years before The Others.
All right, but I like Killbots.
Which
I
doesn't seem like that long.
15 years? That's old person talk.
We're on the other side now of those. It's closer to this than this because we're before it. So now we're only 15 years away from The Others, but The Others was 23 years before where we come from. That doesn't make sense because this feels like we're in ancient history. All I see is red vans everywhere.
And station wagons with wood paneling, baby.
I know.
If I could figure out how to get that to the future, aside from the slow way that I go, because I don't know how to take care of it, and it'll just fall apart by the time we get back to 2024.
I know how to get back to the future. You go to Suncoast Video.
The hell is Suncoast Video?
You go to Suncoast Video and buy a copy of Back to the Future.
Ooh, look at you.
Yep. Oh, God. I don't know how we didn't even lead with this. You know what the worst part of 1986 is?
Let me think. There's a lot of social problems. There's a lot of...
Yes, there's a crack epidemic. There's lots of things. It's how fucking uncomfortable these movie theater seats are.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You take for granted the advancements in comfortability that these theaters have put us through. The screens are smaller. The sound is shit.
They don't have cup holders in some of the seats.
No, and they're all half of them are broken. And I don't know how any bigger person would ever sit in one of them.
It's weird that this was just accepted for so very long that when you go to the movie theater, you sit in this weird folding chair thing.
I can see people when I walk outside, but was
I'm not blind.
Was everybody 4 feet tall and 100 pounds sitting in these seats?
Yes, it was a leprechaun. That's where Warwick Davis lives from the Leprechaun.
It's complete madness. It did teach me a lesson though. That movie theater in Dunkirk I went to.
Oh, backup time. Yes.
Yeah, to see Skidmore in 2022.
Yes.
Or will again in 2022. Comes from before this movie theaters in 1986. The 1986 theaters were now are more modern than the one that I was in.
No
Dunkirk.
kidding.
So I don't know when that one comes from.
Man, we should go find that theater.
I know.
It looks old now, right?
I'm afraid to go.
That same guy is still going to be working there.
That's why I'm afraid to go.
And he's not going to look any different.
Pete, there were no cars in the parking lot.
He's going to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Is it in a mall? Because
it's in
mall adjacent.
It's in a strip mall.
Ooh, that sounds.
But every
naughty.
other part of it seems newer than the theater.
That thing, like that existed there before, like an ancient Indian movie ground.
Like it's not really there in the first place.
It was a Native American movie.
So now I really want to know when that was built because these horrible theaters that I'm sitting in that I never remembered were this uncomfortable. And by the way, the sound quality is shit and the screen is tiny. Hate everything about it. And it's off center too. Everything's weird about the movies. I don't know how people are enjoying this. Still more modern than the one I saw Skidmore at.
That's exciting news.
I know. If we ever get back, we got to go.
I think
Anybody who's listening to the 2024, you want to time travel yourselves, just go to the Dunkirk multiplex.
And if we're there, hop on back with us. Come join us here in 1986.
Yes. And if there's one employee and there's no cars and he's really happy to see you, run.
Or don't. I've never been there. I don't know what happens.
No, you've been wanting to go.
I have.
We should go now because it'll still seem like it's
That's
stuck
what
in
I
the
mean.
past.
Let's see what it looks like now.
Is this what Inception is? Going to a 70s movie theater in 1986?
That you first went to in 2024 or 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's layers within layers within layers.
Maybe it's 2023. I don't remember.
Quick, tell me the one secret that you were supposed to keep from me. Tell me. All right. That was how Inception ended. She didn't have to tell him.
What secret?
Whatever the thing was for his girlfriend there, his wife, she couldn't know because she was in his brain. But he's like, just tell me that guy's in trouble. It was dumb. I like that movie up to that point.
Did you?
I did. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. She's cool, man.
All right. Any final thoughts on Killbots that you destroyed for humanity? Because this doesn't exist. You can't see this cut ever again. They lost this footage.
I guess I have not wrapped my brain around that concept yet. And I've not seen Chopping Mall, so I don't know what the difference is. When we see it, all right, I'll watch it in November. God damn.
Why don't we just go home?
Would you shut up about going home? This is quite possibly the best vacation I have ever been on in my life.
Sure. But it's, first of all, we're still in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo is awesome. There's nothing.
The air is worse. Yeah. I just want to point that out.
Weirdly, it is.
No, I understand why, because all those things haven't completely gone out of business yet. So there's still mills and things running that are making
People
the
keep
air worse.
talking about this ozone layer this, and the whole that.
I was going to say, it was eye-opening the first day when I took a breath and I was like, oh my God, this is way worse than it was in 2024. And like, part of me feels like I'm being lied to, but the other part understands why this happened because we haven't completely collapsed as a city yet. But we will. And we are powerless to stop it.
Well, I'm not going to do anything.
No, I'm not going to do anything either. I'm
All right.
probably going to go to see another movie next week.
I was going to say, what movie are we seeing next?
Well, it's the end of March,
That's what you tell me.
which means April's right around the corner.
It's March Madness, Pete Rose.
Yeah, I don't know who won March Madness in 86.
Pete
Or else we win
Rose,
some money.
baby.
When is that going to happen? That's probably going to happen pretty soon.
I already filled out my bracket.
So it happens maybe in 90.
It was all Annie.
Yep, there you go.
All Annie all the time.
You want to play the Nicolas Cage tournament with the 4 movies that exist? That's what's got to be driving you nuts. You have no access to Nick Cage news.
Ooh, I did feel like something was missing in my life. Oh boy, what is Nicolas Cage doing right now? Can you just?
I don't know. There's no way to look it up.
Oh,
This is what
boy.
I'm telling you. It drives me insane.
You know what?
Unless I see a commercial or an ad in a newspaper, I'm never going to know what he's
Oh,
up to.
I'm gonna have Nicolas. You know what? Whatever movie we're seeing next, I'm gonna drop some Nicolas Cage news on you.
Well, it's April themed. I can tell you that.
It's a Turtles movie released early in this time.
Yep, it's actually it's not a prequel because it comes before it, but it's just following her broadcasting career.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool.
There's no turtles in it though.
It's like that movie about the news people, and
Spotlight.
no, the one where the tower is on fire or something, and he's
9/11.
screaming. No, I don't know what movie it was. Broadcast news, perhaps.
There's a tower on fire in broadcasting.
I don't know. Doesn't he stand up there screaming about something?
I don't know.
Throwing
I'm
papers
pretty
out
sure
of a building.
It's not out yet, so I'll never know the answer.
I think there is a movie called that.
Is it the Towering Inferno?
Could be. That sounds like a movie with a tire and or a fire and a tower. a tire
The
fire
tiring
in the
inferno.
tower. It's a tiring. I don't know how to reverse those letters.
Well, next week, Pete, we're going to go see April Fool's Day.
Am I going to show up at the theater and you're not going to be there? And then you're going to go April Fools? Because that's not cool, man. I've fallen for that before.
You know too much. All right. See you next week. Just edit this stuff out, obviously. Guys, cut this part out too. Add that opening. Take out the little coughs and things.
Are you talking to Pete and Bryan uptime?
Well, they have to be listening to
Pete's
this.
gone, man. I told
Well,
you.
no, we know that Pete's
So just
gone.
talk to Bryan. You're wasting time talking to Pete.
All right, Brian, cut this part out. Don't leave this on there. It's very amateurish if you do. So, all right, we'll see you next week. We'll send you another tape. And unless we figure out how to get out of here, but I don't think we're going to put that much effort into it. So
We'll see you guys in 2024 when my time machine finishes working.
I'll see you when I'm 80, whatever it was, and Pete will be long dead. See you then.